Hey there. I had a few thoughts about what most people, probably myself included, during parts of my life, what they wanted the most out of life or what they focused the most on. And I think most people just want to feel good. Instead of being good or doing good, they just want to focus on, they feel good. Um, but what gives us the most joy or happiness in life? What lasts the longest? There was a scripture that came to mind that's in Romans chapter 8, verses 5 through 8. And in verse 5, it says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enemy against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So they that are in the flesh cannot please God." That's Romans 8, 5 through 8. Another version, instead of King James, there's the New International Version, says, "The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by spirit is life and peace." So, um, if we focus on the short-term gains, short-term physical gratifications, that's we're told there it's carnal or being spiritually dead. Water and fire are great servants, but they're not very good masters. It's nice to have running water in your house. It's a blessing. But if you have a pipe that breaks, you find out really quick how much damage and destruction that happens. Fire also, if contained and directed, provides great benefits like powering our cars and heating our homes. But if left unchecked, it can destroy many things in our lives. I've often thought about, some of the conveniences that we have, with having furnaces that heat our homes. What would happen if we one day decided, oh, it's so sad to see natural gas and fire being so contained, 7 days a week, maybe just once a week or once a month, we should unconfine, this fire and this gas and let it do whatever it wants. Have some freedom. You need to have some freedom once a month and let it out. Why don't you come out, and go up to the furnace, come out and play for a little bit. It'll only take probably one time for you to see, your house burn to the ground before you knew, having unconfined borders for fire and gas is the most beneficial thing in life. You've got to have that containment. You've got to have that combustion chamber that confines where that gas and fire can work its power. So, I mean, how much sin does God allow in our life, or does the Lord? How much crap do you want in your water? He doesn't allow any. How much water do you want to drink that's been contaminated? I don't want to drink any. Our bodies are constantly demanding necessities in life and desires against God. When you have the desire to have, that next fix or that pleasure, stop and think, feeling good is very temporary, but doing good, in some cases, the benefits last forever. If the devil comes to you tempting you, make him pay. Stop what you're doing and go and do something that is beneficial. Pleasure is fleeting. Doing good and the benefits can last for weeks or months or forever. Know that you all can think of examples in your life where you did the right thing to help someone out, and how you felt about that. If we're constantly thinking about how to satisfy the body's wants, you're dead spiritually. And even doing anything that the Lord would not do in your place is sin, or not doing what he would in your place is also not good. It's considered sin. If we follow the path that he sets before us, we have a path of no regrets. Life will not be filled with regrets. It'll be filled with great things. So how do we get to that point? Well, don't focus on the negative. Don't think about, oh, I can't do this. I can't, I've got so much temptation. I've got, I don't know if I'll give in. I can't do it. It's too hard. Focus on the positive. Fill your life with so much good that the negative doesn't have any room to come in. It's like your mind is a garden. You clear out all the weeds and then can't leave an empty piece of ground. You have to go and plant very beneficial plants, make them so thick and good that there's no room for anything else. As far as an example in my personal life of having no regrets, of course, I'm human. I've had things I do regret, but thank goodness, the Lord has had mercy. And there's actually an example of not having regrets. The son that I had that passed away a few years ago. It's interesting. He, this is probably 6 months before he passed away. He came to our mom, his mom and I, and talked about this business proposal that he said we were gonna, if we could help him with the seed money, that he would make all this money, and he would be financially independent, and he had these dreams, and he kept saying this for days. Hey, when you guys have got some time, I want to present this information to you. And so after about 3 or 4 days, it was Saturday morning, or I don't remember when, but he cornered us, and we were sitting in the hallway downstairs. I remember it very vividly. And he had put together this presentation on his computer, PowerPoint and everything. And he showed a picture of a car, and his proposal was, and he'd had some experience with this because his car had a slight accident. No one was hurt, but it required some repairs, and I had him involved with that process of getting his car repaired. And so he knew a friend that I had that was his business. He would buy and sell salvaged cars, buy them, fix them up, and resell them. So basically, this was his idea. He was going to use my friend's connections to buy and fix up and sell cars. And the first thought that came to my mind is, there's no way I'm going to give you money to start a business that's most likely going to fail, and it's thousands of dollars. There's a ton of people who have tried this business model, and very few succeed because a branded title it's hard to sell. And so right as I was going to start in defense of why I wasn't going to do it, the Lord told me, keep your mouth shut. Thank goodness I listened. I didn't say much. Matter of fact, because it didn't say you're nuts and crazy, I'm not doing that. He thought this was approval to go ahead. So for months, he looked for cars, and he was excited. He was excited about this business plan. And then shortly after that, he was taken from us. But during that time, he had almost a joy and hope and a relief from some of the pain he was feeling. He had a lot of pain. Anyway, I'd like to share a video with you of somebody that's found great joy in their lives by dedicating a lot of their time and efforts in helping people. This was actually a fundraiser we had gone to a few months ago for the homeless shelter. They were looking for help for oh yeah, just a second, technical difficulties here. They were looking for help raising funds for their. Let me just share this with you. It's about 4 or 5 minutes.
Reporters gathered at the Dixie Center to hear more about the lives that have been changed as a result of Switchpoint Resource Center's unwavering support to the homeless.
Please notice the vignettes on your table. There's 9 different stories of our courageous, resilient clients who, with love and encouragement from their case managers, are overcoming the obstacles and the barriers that they face.
This year's theme is Know You Are Loved. It was backed up by a Jimmy Buffett song.
Phrase for me was, because the joy is always enough. And man, I couldn't do this if there wasn't joy every single day in meeting these people that we serve. We want our clients to know that they're loved.
In 2022, Switchpoint helped over 446 people get back on track and back into society, permanently housed.
I can't tell you the number of clients that I've met over the years that have strayed one way or another from their family, from their moral compass, and once they get pointed in that right direction, like a switch point, they make it. They make it.
Working with the people, the mentors that I was working with through Switchpoint, yeah, I did start remembering things. I have learned a lot of new things, and continue to progress that way. So
when they say Switchpoint is like the pivotal point of making a new direction, that's what it showed me. It's guided me into learning to love myself again and become a better me than I was yesterday, and I'm truly grateful for that.
Over the past 9 years, Switchpoint has opened the doors of many businesses to help fund its.
So I hope you got something out of that. I don't know if you caught what Carol was talking about when she said the joy that she had every day that she worked with these people, seeing the progress that they make, seeing the changes that they make, seeing the improvement. The day that each day is filled with joy. And also, there was a couple of their clients they had videoed that last point, examples of how people change, and you can be part of that change. I remember the first time I didn't play the video long enough, but there was another lady, her name was Linda. I remember the first time I met her, I was with the company I work for at a convention. and we had set up a booth to advertise the stuff we were doing. But right next to our booth was this Linda, and I say her name because she's a public face of SwitchPoint. But I went over and talked to her and her husband, and within just a few minutes of her talking about the business that she was in, she got emotional. She's found something in her life that fulfills her purpose, helping other people become better to get back on track. She actually talked about health problems she'd had for a few years. She was in Hawaii. She had to come back to Utah for some reason to get some health treatments. And as she was here, actually in southern Utah, people directed her to this organization. And she said she had no plans to move back to Hawaii. This was her cause. She was meant to be here helping these people. What a great cause. So if you fill your life with such overpowering good things, the weeds can't grow. So what is your why? What does God ask you to do? Why were you born at this time? I'll give you a clue. Most of the time, I'd say all of the time, we're here to help others. So what is it you're good at? What are your talents that you have? How can you help use those talents in for his good and for the best of others? I hope this helps. Focusing on doing good will last forever. Focusing on feeling good, very temporary, and it's a dead-end street. Thanks.